Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we are going to be reviewing an EP from an act named Passive, or Passive Identity, titled The Lost Demo. The Lost Demo. And if we switch over to here, the reason I say Passive Identity is because we've got the EP art here, Passive Identity, The Lost Demo. We've got 3 tracks that we're going to be checking out today. We're going to be listening through each of them from start to finish. And just before we get into this, I do enjoy listening to Passive's work. I've listened to a few of his songs over the time I've been doing music reviews, and I typically have a good time with them. So again, we're going to listen through each of these tracks from start to finish. We're going to hear what we think, starting with One Day Vacay. Let's go. Oh, that's nice. That's gorgeous. There's some interesting electric keyboard parts with the synths and the drums, and the vocals sound nice and fresh, and all the parts of the mix are well leveled. This is a good start.
Trapped in a world but the heart get broke, based upon your horoscope. When the constellations collide, any man on the moon lose hope. When the UFOs don't fly, and the tide washes away, all the stars don't quite align. Here we are lost in the space, floating like a river, floating like a death.
Yeah, no, we're not messing around with this one. Passive has stepped up his game with this one. Again, his previous tracks have been great, but this feels like there's a little bit more polish to it. There's that development of these vocal chops in this part here, a nice bit of elevation in this half of the verse.
Late, go madness late. My heart in my hand, I'll be damned if it break. My head in the clouds, I took all I could take. Yeah. And if you call me tomorrow, I can't promise it all will be worth it. The world isn't perfect, this place is a mess. As soon as I leave, I'll be so happy I left.
As soon as I leave, I'll be so happy I left. Damn, man. So we're talking about the world isn't being perfect and the struggle identified with that. Are we talking... No, we need more context before we can figure out the meaning behind One Day Vacay.
One day vacay, I might be away for a while. I'll see you again, and I'll smile.
It's okay, sometimes you need a rest, but you do want to come back to that person, and you know, there will be smiles. I like how the bass rises with some of those organ bits, and I love the sparkly parts in that synth section there. There's so much color, and it's so pretty, especially with those backing vocal chops, those backing vocals there. It's stunning. You've got this musical motif instantiated at the beginning, but Passive is making sure to, you know, Passive Identity or Passive is making sure that he does everything to be able to make this special.
No, 'cause someday, baby, I might be away for a while. I'll see you again, if heaven allows. Drowning in the fire, if it may, flames like waves of water. All the while I smile, but I keep swimming under. I run out of breath. The smoke takes a hold of me. I remember when Jesus wept and the fire ripped through the sea.
I like how we're going a little bit slower with this, how we got his clean vocals here. It's interesting filtering on his voice. It sounds present amongst all the other elements of the mix. It's a smart move.
Oh, let Jordan roll. Oh, let Jordan be.
Nice to have the drums cut out of this part. Kind of floats there, you know?
Oh, let Jordan roll. Oh, let Jordan be. Jordan, won't you roll? Jordan, roll on me. Drowning in fire. Something in the water got me wanting something more. Drowning in my sorrow, come tomorrow feeling so okay. Mystery identity, I'm searching for myself. Something.
It's nice we've got this verse section with the rapping, and then we've got this chorus or like bridge parts. We've got the clean vocals coming in, and it's nice now in the second verse to have the rapping back in. It's nice staging of these different vocal styles here.
In the water, gotta be better for my health. I should quit the smoking, I should stop the drinking too. Not much more to say about what I wish I never knew.
Nice little bit of foley there with the alarm clock.
Philosophical obstacles, something in the water make the impossible possible. Pick your poison, excellent selection, coming to you live from the pessimistic section. I bet you think you hot, you really not. drop to my drip and a sip to my shot. Dear God, dear Lord, dear Jesus, please have mercy on elementary teachers. Cause the kids, they need us to be less egregious. Trapped in a world where the heart get broke, based upon your horoscope. When the constellations collide, any man on the moon lose hope. When the UFOs don't fly, and the tide washes away.
You may be noticing I'm not saying that much, just because there's a lot to take in from the story that's being told here. I don't really feel the need to interrupt it. And also, sometimes we have these parts where we bridge across with vocals. So usually I would pause at the end of a specific section, but Passive isn't allowing for that. Passive is saying, no, don't you press that, don't you press that button. I need you to stick around for a bit more. It's a smart move in a near 5-minute track, you know?
Floating like a river, floating like a damn lake. Oh man, it's late. My heart in my hand, I'll be damned if it break. My head in the clouds, I took all I could take.
We're back to the book line here?
And if you call me tomorrow, I can't promise it all will be worth it. The world isn't perfect, this place is a mess. As soon as I leave, I'll be so happy I left. I'll take a one-day vacay.
Yeah, this is a catchy melody here, and I'm liking the repeaters in the background that are reinforcing that in the call and response sort of way. Yeah, this is a really great introduction to, I think, Passive's work for someone who may not have heard him before, and this is kind of part of the reason why releasing a demo can be really helpful. You know, you can, you know, if there is a need, of course, you can polish up your skills with the singles, and then once you feel like you've got the sound you want, you then would release an EP to be like, this is the best version of each of these tracks, you know? Or it could be completely new material, you know?
I see you again, and I smile. No, cause someday, baby, I might be away for a while. I'll see you again. Heaven allowed, drowning in the fire.
See, drowning in the fire, that didn't end at the end of the part or didn't begin at the next part. It kind of transitioned and made a bridge between those two parts. I think it's just smart songwriting to have those melodies carry over so there's a smoothness to it. That reflects a lot of the coloration and the approach with the other elements of the mix, you know? And again, those drums are nicely mixed, eh? They're sidechained, but they're not cutting too much at it, you know? There's still a sense of sleekness to it. Nice. Nice fade out there, nice and succinct. Yeah, One Day Vacay, the first track off the Lost Demo EP. Lost Demo EP. Is this an EP? I'm not sure. I'm going to assume it's an EP. Usually EPs are between 2 and 6 tracks. I enjoyed my time with this. First track, as I understand it, is about Passive having all these different, you know, like thoughts about things, trying to process it and needing a break to get away from it. And maybe when he comes back, the person that he's going to see is the one that he really needs to be there for or something like that. But it's nice to hear him express it, like talking about the elementary school teachers and stuff like that, talking about other people, you know, aside from himself and aside from the people that are close to him, you know, trying to teach the kids to be less egregious. I think there's some beautiful stuff in here talking about his struggles like quitting cigarettes and stuff like that as well. Or like with the alarm clock, maybe these are thought processes are unending and this is a struggle that Passive has, and it's just, it sucks, man. But it sounds like Passive is working through it, and one of the best ways of working through the stuff can be to write music about it. And you know, we'll do the conclusion at the end, but I think this is obviously a great first track. And then, of course, we've got Broke No More, which is track number 2. So what's this one about?
Hey, I'm gonna try to run this through one take, so don't stop the record, please.
Cool, we've got that jazzy lo-fi vibe to it.
She don't say.
Nice filtering on those drums there. Again, if they're too bright, it can interfere with the clarity of the vocals in the mix. And you know, do you know how like I'm nodding my head right now? It's not something I'm doing intentionally. It's just, you know, I nod and I think, okay, yeah, this music is making me do it without me even realizing it. That means you got a solid groove in there. I think it's a chord note groove, or chord note accents anyways.
And she ain't like like how the money she making weren't enough. And she ain't like all the tone when they saying hurry up. And she ain't like how the homies would only wanna And she ain't like how the police was always turning up. She ain't like how the churches would never open late. She ain't like how the doctor kept assuming she straight. She ain't like how the teachers always called her a leader. She ain't like her mama ain't like her either. She just wanted a ticket on the police.
Damn, man, that phrasing of that, she don't like it when something, she don't like it when something, it's such an easy thing to follow, and because it becomes predictable, and there's that repetition of it, it gets stuck in your head, and you kind of get lulled into this, oh, I wonder what she's not going to like next, and because of the sort of sophistication and near neutrality. Well, not neutral. No, it's fairly neutral, actually. The music, the harmony behind it is fairly neutral, despite the complexity, arrangement, and the harmonies there. You know, it kind of, it's not overwhelming. All the things she doesn't like, you know, and then split it halfway and have this section here we go a bit more freeform. I think is a smart idea.
She just wanted to kick it, not exposing them. She just wanted to live as if she really existed. She just wanted to have the world was a too unrealistic. I'm gonna try to run this through. Made it to 25, thankful to be alive. At 24, she was just hoping for 20 more. Damn it if she ain't try to stay up out the trouble. Like if it's a puddle, then she be dry. She wouldn't call it struggle or this headache worse than. And she ain't been as sober since the middle of July. 94, welcome home. Oh yeah, life is a bitch. Pushing 28, 29, I bet 30's a glitch. I mean, even Jesus lost his life at age 36. How in the hell could she prove she deserves to exist?
Damn, dude. This is a really compelling storytelling. It's definitely a level up for Passive. I think, like the way that he's describing this person, it makes you want to get to know them better, and it makes you feel for them. And it's easy to imagine, I think, what they might be going through, even if you haven't been through something like that, primarily because of how well it's told.
You ain't gotta look no further. I got everything you need. And if a change is coming, best believe it comes with it. You can live wild and free. You can go to sleep in peace.
Nice final LP. What's the sound of it? You know that kind of that. How do I don't know what that text is called. I mean, I do know what it's called. It's just escape. The words escape me at the moment.
She don't say hi no more. She don't say bye no more. She don't say. She don't say. She don't say hi no more. She don't say bye no more. She don't say.
I was splitting it in half. This is clever stuff, dude. Well done for splitting it in half. Oh.
I got places to go. My windows remain closed. My tank's low, running on empty. Oh, say it ain't so. I'm losing all control.
So my camera decided to have an error, which is why I had to go over and check it. But like, man, this is a complete vibe shift, isn't it? It's talking about she or another person. Now it's coming back to him, maybe?
My patience low. Pray they don't get me. I don't wanna be broke forever. Tell me where to find the treasure. I've been searching way too long.
Nice double track in there with the falsettos on the side. I dig it. Nice coloration here. A little bit of extra sparkle and zazz at this part. Especially because we've got that kind of jazzy piano there doing those trills occasionally and the
My hands shake, aching from the coldest weather. Baby, help me find a shelter, a temporary place to hold. Monday, mundane, sorta sound the same. No wonder the sun came to satisfy the lover and her mother. No better than to leave her unattended. 9 months later, still she begging for forgiveness, but her mama won't fold. Her love is enough, even if it's from a distance. One would call it tough. What else could you expect when a generation's fucked? I don't know them well, but I know them well enough. The corner store talks and the barber shop buzz. Sister Margaret, baby, lately she been fucking up.
This is going really heavy, hasn't it?
It's tough enough. The boy should man up. Another baby lost in this world of lust. Fast forward a couple years and another couple months.
Sister Margaret, baby, showing signs of giving up. The bills come in a rush, the lights are awfully dim, and the kid keeps throwing up. The doctor say it's normal, but he don't know the half, cause the mama can't work when a child is missing class. Life is on the ass, life ain't letting up. If tomorrow was the rapture, she'd be happy with the fuss, and that sucks.
Don't let a feeling that's temporary be the reason for obituaries. Life's a bitch even in February. Half of the month gone, still got burdens to carry. Or bury in that dirt wet as hell, shovel cut and clean. Nicks on my face, gotta stop the bleed. Dripping on the counter, fuck it, wipe it up. How you supposed to heal?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this album is talking about people who, like, you know, growing up, they are in situations where, you know, either the situation screws them up or they make decisions or other people make decisions for them. And there's just these terrible consequences to it. All the rumors and the bullshit like that, people talking about stuff they don't know about. I'm assuming the 9 months thing, maybe they got, they got pregnant. They got pregnant or something like that, but nobody would support them or something like that, or maybe they would. I'm not sure. I'd need to listen to this a few more times because there's quite a lot going on here. But it got fairly heavy really quick. I mean, we were already talking about in the first part. She don't like this. She don't like that. But you know, at the end, then things come to a close, and the reality hits you, and you've just got to do what you can with it. And I have a feeling this is a story that's very, very important and very personal to Passive, so I don't want to say too much about it in case I misinterpret it. But the way it was delivered, especially with that lady speaking at the end there, it was deep. It was deep. I would thoroughly recommend people listen to this on their own and kind of make their decisions about them for themselves. There will be people that can relate to the stuff within this song, and it's a shame that people have to go through these terrible ordeals, you know. I think I heard before how Passive was talking about mentioning how life was unfair, and I wish that we just weren't broke and stuff like that, and yeah, life's a bitch. And the story at the end, I suppose, didn't really try and do the, oh, but you'll get through it if you try. It was more like, it just is. And it's affronting, but that's the reality of the situation. You know, sometimes life is just the way it is, and it's difficult to change. It doesn't mean you should necessarily give up, but accepting reality for what it is, at least at the time, you know, the kind of that bum 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 with the filtered drum kit and stuff kind of sounds like you're at a bar, sort of drinking away your sorrows. You know, someone thinking back on things and processing them. You know, losing connection with people. It's sad, dude. I haven't been affected by this by a song in a while, and I wasn't expecting that today, but it's okay. Music's meant to have an effect on you, whether you like it or not. But yeah, we've got track number 3 from the Lost demo. We've got Easy Up. Nice string work here. Again, I also want to compliment Passive on the studio production. Each of these tracks sounds really well mixed and mastered at this point. I'll break it down a little bit in a moment, but that side of it is really positive, eh? Got the honky tonk piano. It's an interesting texture, eh?
Ease up, boy, ease up, boy. Ease up, boy, ease up.
Oh, ease up. Easy up. Ease up. My bad. Apologies.
Ease up, boy, you're tense. Ease up, boy, ease up, boy. Ease up, boy, ease up. Ease up, boy, you're tense.
Nice bomb, 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 bomb. Nice instantiation of that bass there leading into the verse part. And the fact that I can say it's a verse part is because it just sounds like you're going into a new part of the song because of that transition, you know?
Sometimes I can see the sunrise, and sometimes all I see is rain. And sometimes I
really pretty guitar parts as well.
And sometimes I don't feel a thing. And sometimes my favorite songs don't sound the same at all. And sometimes I sing along, but sometimes I can't cause I ain't that strong.
Damn, so we're talking about our own personal struggles or our own demons here. Kind of reminds me of someone, you know, like when you're depressed, for example, stuff doesn't feel the same as it used to be. Kind of coping with that, you know. Difficult stuff to talk about, but Passive's doing it well.
Ease up, boy, ease up, boy.
Intense.
Ease up, boy, ease up. Ease up, boy, you're tense.
So is that the equivalent of like get over it or something like that? Is he telling himself to get over it because he's tense? And is that the kind of like meant to contrast between the self-care or like the situation he's describing and or is that right? Is it meant to be, or is it saying he needs to try and find a way to be less tense? I don't know.
Listen, men, I've seen my share. I dare be a kite in the wind. I swear I won't sway. I pray that karma come in my way. Don't come in the way of me while I'm progressing from the decisions I've made. I wrote that line a couple times and made it 28. After all in all is tallied, I've been doing great. Hard labor in exchange for a piece of the bank. Hard labor for $1 in pocket. Oh shit. But
Nice. Cool. I like that. I like that occasional vocal modulation, though. It's fun. It's kind of an unusual effect, I have to think, with some of the textures we have. Like, I feel like we'd need more synths, for example, to have that sort of electro kind of mod vibe, but it's okay. It's okay. It's something that is like part of passive style, and it's totally cool. Good on him, you know?
okay, though, one complaint, though, I just can't relate. And I just hate the fact I've tried, but yo, I really can't. I'm the drunkard at the wedding, and I'm about to faint. There ain't no fear in me, but plenty tears could fill the tank. But I've been running on need Visine. I believe in the need to finish my life dreams. But these things intervene for a son of a Pisces.
Again, there's that gradual development of the musical theme there with these higher piano parts. The bass and the drums are supportive of each other. There's a cool looping chord progression there. There's lots to appreciate, but the focal point is still nonetheless the vocals.
Advice is perfection, advice be precise. Don't belittle the way that I might spit in your food. Fresh tomatoes on bagels, a couple capers too. That's how I'm living nowadays, the loop on interlude. Only time will tell the dividends, I'll soon recoup. And sometimes I can see the sunrise. And sometimes all I see is rain. And sometimes I feel I'm in my prime. And sometimes I don't feel a thing. And sometimes my favorite songs don't sound the same at all.
Nice cool response to these guitar and vocal parts here. It's a nice development from what we had earlier. I mean, we might have had the guitar parts earlier.
Sometimes I sing along, but sometimes I can't cause I ain't that strong. Ease up, boy, ease up, boy.
Cool.
Ease up, boy, ease up. Ease up, boy, ease up, boy. You're tense.
And that fade out, that gradual fade out for the end of the EP, the Lost Demo. Wow. You know, I think that this is Passive's best work yet, like honestly. You know, usually when I have a musician that I've worked with release a few singles and other bits, but then show me a demo like this, I'm optimistic by virtue of the fact, you know, that typically a demo or an EP like this is indicative of their finally feeling confident enough to release a bigger project or like a bigger output, you know, or like something that is more of an overall concept as opposed to, you know, just one sort of story at a time. And I like the fact that Passive or Passive Identity with the Lost Demo, I like the fact that we're trying a demo or an EP like this because it can be really difficult to justify it nowadays, especially because of the single economy, you know, where people are like, oh, that's a new track, take it, absorb, and then move on, you know. I think that what Passive has here are 3 different tracks that are unique, if not at least because they sound like they've been mastered as part of one thing because of the similar like overall tone of the tracks within this and the different instruments and stuff. And the vocal quality, the audio recordings and stuff like that. It's just, it sounds like Passive was trying to let you in just a little bit more to give you multiple ways of interpreting himself as a musician, as a human being, and the stuff that he talks about and believes in. You had, you know, One Day Vacay, where it was effectively Passive talking about all the different thoughts he had in his head, struggling with the reality of the situation there, trying to process it, talking about wanting to have a break, wondering, you know, like if he'd be thankful that he left, you know, or that he thought he'd be thankful if he left, if he was able to never return. I don't really know how to interpret beyond that. Broke No More is a tricky one for me. I don't want to get it wrong because I have a feeling we're talking about some really serious subject matter here. My initial interpretation is that it's about a person who has just been screwed over by the place that she lives in. People don't care about her. She is struggling to get by. She doesn't have the money to be able to look after her. She doesn't have the support network to be able to support herself. And then the 9-month thing I heard, maybe she had a kid with someone or something like that. And then You know, she tries her best to take care of the kid, but then like the world just bears her down, and it's a sad ending and everything like that. That's my interpretation of it, and I could be wrong, and if I am, I apologize. But I figure it's better to have at least have a go than to like kind of be like, you just not bother. You know, as a reviewer, even though the focus is on the song as a whole, you know, it's important for the listener to be able to understand the story and what's going on with it. Although, to be fair, I'm sure that someone who's only solely focusing on the lyrics and the story will be able to get it a lot more clearer than me. Overall, I mean, like, this is a great track as well. It's probably my favorite, despite the intensity of the subject matter, you know? And then you've got Easy Up or Ease Up, where it's him talking about the struggles he goes through internally or psychologically and the pressure on him to just kind of ease up because he's tense. And it's like a day-to-day kind of torture for him by the sounds of it. And again, I could be wrong, but these are my interpretations. Because this is, again, of course, the conclusion here. I mean, the stories are compelling. They show some vulnerability. A lot of people will be able to relate to this, but they're also well told. The imagery is visceral. It's easy to imagine what the person's going through by the way he tells it. I enjoy the intelligence and the creativity there, you know. It's down to earth. It isn't trying to overwhelm you. As a rapper, you know, and as a clean vocalist, you know, like Passive nails it, you know. He's just, the melodies are catchy. There's repetition there, some nice background vocals and backing vocals and vocal chops there. The effects change are interesting, especially as once occasionally. That I'm thankful are occasional, because I don't personally think they always suited the tone, the different instruments in the mix. But it was fine. It was fine. That's of course a subjective thing. The flow was smooth. You know, the delivery of the words was precise. You could hear the words clearly, and there was a calm, confident performance here where he emoted effectively for it. Like again with that track, Broke No More. Or Broke No More, where we had like the split in the middle. I think that was a smart move because it had two different ways of discussing. Like, he was a lot more somber and like it was more depressing and kind of bitter at that part than it was here. This was more conversational, or like maybe frustrated but conversational. There were two different sort of vibes to it. The fact we have that difference in our way we can communicate and express ourselves as a singer, as a rapper. You know, the structure of the track where your typical verse, chorus. Some of them had like another extra section in between just to sort of switch things up. I mean, Broke No More was obviously split in two. So that was more through composed, which was fun. I think in a demo, if you can combine some through composed stuff with the more traditional contemporary AB structure stuff, I think that's a really smart move. It offers range and diversity and shows people, yo, I can do more than just this. I can do this as well. You're going to get different experiences within this, depending on the subject matter, or just because I'm capable of doing so, and that's always a great thing. The guitar, bass, and drums and instrumental parts, you know, the piano, the synths, the keys. There were some string parts in there as well. Lots to appreciate there. And I don't just enjoy the fact that whether they were samples, loops, or recorded, I don't really mind. They sounded great, whatever way they were done. What I appreciate is the fact that we had someone who not only knew to include these instruments, but also, especially with Broke No More in that second half, there we had the kind of that dive bar-ish kind of filtered drum kit with the different sounding piano that just sounded so perfect for the situation that was being discussed. And it's just, you need to have experienced it both as a producer and as a musician to be able to know that. You need to have listened to a lot of different types of music to be able to get the right kind of vibe or the kind of approach for that. And that's not something you can stumble across by accident. So kudos to Passive for not only the way the songs were written and the note choices and the different percussive chops there and all that, but kudos for picking the right types of sounds of instruments that you had in there. That were well done to making them appropriate for the thematic part of the story, as well as getting them all to sit together really well in the mix. Because we also have the production, the recording, mixing, and mastering there, which was sensational. Again, I believe this is a step up for Passive. I have enjoyed his work in the past, the vast majority of the time. But I just feel like this is professional. Guys, see EQ and stereo field, panning and stereo field, should I say. The filtering and the EQ and the effects chains and the limiting compression were great. It didn't pump. It was nice and clear and had clarity, and it was crisp. And it was nice and stylistically cohesive, and I've got no real complaints about the studio side of things either. All in all, I think this is an EP that's worth checking out if you have the opportunity to do so. Would thoroughly recommend it. But effectively, this is my review of Passive Identity's The Lost Demo. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show Passive some love via his various social medias and the SoundCloud page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.